The reason why this week's guest is none other than Darryl Fields, and my man's not on Instagram, so we're doing it's cool. Like I said, he gave me an opportunity to try something new and experience a new platform, and I'm gonna get him on here to join us. Let's get this party started. What up? And yeah, thanks for everybody for watching live and being a part of the show. Like I said, it's my first time coming to you on this platform, so it's cool. I'm sure I'll be in front of a few different eyes. This is Dreadful Talk Podcast, episode 34. I do like to do them live, broadcast them live, and then I rip the video and take them. I put the video on YouTube and I put the audio on all your favorite audio podcast platforms. So yeah, this is, step one. And that's what, is something kind of a little bit different that I like to bring to the table as far as, separates me from other podcasters is I do my shows live. At least, I try to do as many of them live as possible. Originally, I thought I was going to be doing this one over Zoom, but it looks like we're going to give this a shot. And he should be coming on soon. Let's see what's going on here. There's already a guest in this broadcast. What the fuck? Darryl, why you declining the invite, bro? Don't decline that shit.
Hey, there we
My
go.
God, man, this is what happens when you get a couple guys that like to get hit in the head for a couple of years of their life trying to set up this live stream, man. But hey, brother, you mind just turning your phone sideways real quick? I think Facebook might give you some kind of weak ass notification, but they can kiss our ass.
Is that
Hey,
better?
this is perfect, my guy. We are live. We are rolling. I'm super excited about this one. So this is episode 34 of Dreadful Talk Podcast. And this week's guest is none other than Darryl Fields. Some of my viewers and friends that go way back with me remember, when me and this guy were playing football over at OBU in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And that's where I originally know this guy from. But our friendship extends well past the field. And this is one of my favorite guys on earth right here. But yeah, this is Darryl Fields. Everybody introduce yourself, Darryl.
Hey, I appreciate that. We do go way back. That's one of my best friends right there. I'm real proud of what you're doing, man.
Oh
And
man, I appreciate that, my guy.
yeah, shoot, I'm always gonna be here to support. You know what I mean? But like you said, I'm Darryl Fields. I don't really. A lot of people probably don't know me, but
No, it's
I
cool.
guess I'm here to tell y'all a little bit about myself.
For sure, man. That's definitely part of what we're doing here, and I'll toot your horn for you because I know you're a humble guy. But man, the man picture on the other half of my screen right here is hands down the single best athlete that I ever played sports with, and that's coming from a guy that played football on the same team as George Kittle. I'm sorry, George. I love you. You're obviously a beast, but man, I'm telling you, wasn't nobody touching this man right here.
Man, I appreciate that. That's big, man. That's big. You don't even know.
Hey, one sec. I need a lighter, man. I'm fucking. Hey, baby, can you toss me a lighter? You know what a lighter is? Man,
Yeah,
we got
that's
to
the
start this
right.
party off, right? And man, one of the other, things we had in common besides football, it was definitely a little old cannabis. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's only right. It's only
yeah,
right,
that
man.
was a fun time, man. That was a real fun time. A
It
little
definitely
cloudy,
was.
a little cloudy.
A little cloudy, yeah. A lot of 40s, a lot of blunts, man. But hey, what are college kids supposed to be doing, man? But
Hey, you remember them side pockets?
my guy, the one and only time, my guy, the one and only time. For those that don't know, for your extraordinary scumbag who a normal 40 isn't quite scumbaggy enough, they make like 40s on steroids that are like double strength, and we used to, scumbag around and throw a couple of those back. And you know that when you got $5 and you need to turn up, man, it's a good route to go, man. There was some fun times, but so some of the viewers may be asking, like, oh, maybe you're exaggerating a little bit. This guy, saying he's a better athlete than George Kittle. But in part of what we're talking about today, part of like the theme of today's episode, are the athletes that kind of slip through the cracks, and kind of, the athletes that have to take unconventional routes, and the athletes that kind of hit obstacles along the way. And just a lot of those like kind of obstacles and stories that a lot of people just don't even factor in or think about, or we're just kind of here to tell that story of the athlete, that kind of slipped through the cracks and just maybe didn't make it to the stage, that essentially they deserve to make it to, based on, pure athletic talent. And you're one guy like that, and there's a million of them. You know what I mean? There's so many, like bro, like when I'm watching, I know so many athletic guys that never made it to the league, that like whenever I'm watching an NFL game, I'm just like, man, think about how many Tyreek Hills are sitting at home on the couch, or think about how many, like, you know what I'm saying? Are we even seeing the best of the best? We always say in the NFL, we're watching the best of the best. And I'm like, man, are we though? Because a lot of guys slip through the cracks,
Yeah, man, and that's I know a lot of guys like that too, and like you said, there's a lot that kind of goes into it, that a lot of people don't think about. A lot of us are a little bit too proud to admit that we was wrong, and back then or whatever, but I'm really not. I ain't one of them guys, you know what I mean? I'll tell you straight up, I was wrong, man. I messed up a big chance that I had, and around that time I had a lot of things going on, especially for an 18-year-old kid that's about to leave, little Madill, Oklahoma, and go up to, or down to Dallas. You know what I mean? That's big,
Huge adjustment, huge change. And I swear, man, I mean, and as somebody who's been there, done that, and I mean, obviously I experienced it at a smaller level, going to OBU, but like just that culture shock and that change of environment, I feel like that's damn near half the battle right there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The guys that can adjust and kind of, adapt to that new environment. I mean, I know that can be a big obstacle for a lot of guys,
Yeah, it's coming from a deal. We have like a bonfire. You know what I mean? Like a little bonfire in somebody's backyard, on somebody's land or something. And that's about as good as it gets. And then you get down to Dallas, and it's it's clubs all over the place. With different women. You know what I mean? It's a huge change, man, and you can get distracted real easy, you know what I mean? And
one thing that I always felt like I was struggling with when I played ball, and I don't know if we ever really talked about it much back then, but I always felt like there was like three parts of my life that could never be in balance. There's like my football on-field success, there's like my academics, and then there's like just essentially everything else, whether you want to lump socializing or getting money, or they said the girls are just whatever, just life. You know what I'm saying? The paying rent and just all the other stuff. Like, life don't go on pause just because you play football. And I always felt like all three aspects of my life needed 100%. But by definition, I couldn't like give 100% to all three because I'm only one guy. Did you feel that? Did you remember feeling the kind of that struggle? And it just felt like you couldn't win, or at least I remember feeling like that.
Yeah, man. It was I do remember that, man. Sometimes I still feel that way. You know what I mean? I ain't even playing no more, but
yeah,
it's man, like I feel like probably the time that I probably had that balance going the best, man, is probably after my senior year of high school. You know what I mean? Like, I set goals for myself, individually, that I met. But we set goals as a team that we obviously fell short of. But you know, I had my season. You know, I had a real good season. You know, it was my second season at running back, and I wanted to get some more eyes on me. You know, and that's exactly what I did. You know what I mean? I had a real good season, and then I'm looking forward to college. You know, I'm looking forward to everything, and as soon as I'm up there, I'm on cloud nine, man. My mom dies, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's the perfect definition of life not stopping just because you're playing football. I just think like a lot of these athletes, that I just feel like people don't realize that you're dealing with shit like that. Like, a freshman comes in, maybe doesn't perform or doesn't get a grade, and you never know. You're some assholes writing on a blog like, "Oh, this guy's a bust," and meanwhile the guy's dealing with the loss in the family or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, people that ain't lost their mom, they really, they can't relate. It's I mean, you lose people and it affects you in different ways. You know what I mean? Like, I know you and your mom's relationship. I don't even want to speak about that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's just one of them things, and losing her, it affected me in a way that I didn't know back then. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of like you, life goes on, like I got to keep on moving. She wanted me to keep going.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
there's some things that I probably should have looked into at that time, and I feel like, that could have helped me a lot, even with how I am today, you
Yeah,
know?
man. And that is something that's cool to see. And I know we ain't that old. We right at that age. We at that J. Cole age where, we big homies for some and little homies to others. But
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is times have changed since we was coming up, man. I mean, I know it hasn't been that long, but a lot more, like mental health and shit like that is a lot more spoken about nowadays than even just them couple of years back, man, which is cool. Maybe some kid, maybe there's some freshmen out there now dealing with something similar, and now they have more resources and people, to help with stuff like that. At least I like to hope.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, you know what I mean? Like, that can, just the mental side of things can break somebody down physically, you know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's it's
100%.
it's one of them it's one of them things that you got to really look into. You got to really keep that in check, man, especially when life's coming at you like that. You graduate high school, you leave your parents, you go and start living on your own, and different things start happening, you know, maybe you didn't get no play in high school. You know what I mean? Now you're starting to get a little bit of play. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta still have that ability to keep the mental stuff good. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, man. And when you're that young, everything you're doing seems like the most important thing that you could be doing. Like, no matter what you're doing, like if you're like when you're playing football, like that's all that matters in the world. When you at that party, that's all that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no context. It's just like I'm here right now, and this is what's happening around me. I feel you, man. You're just kind of somewhat not equipped for some of that yet. Man, something I wanted to talk about with you that I think we could have an interesting conversation on, especially considering the fact that your wife's from Europe and you spent time in Europe as well, is I think a lot of, like, almost half the shit, if not more, that we're talking about as far as obstacles that athletes and young people, in this American system get caught up in. I feel like a ton of that could be avoided, um, like almost like the European model. Like when a European kid is really good at soccer at like age, 12, 11, 13, whatever the fuck it is. Like, I'm sure whenever you were 12, you were a lot bigger and faster than other 12-year-olds. Like, you can spot that shit really young. And some athletes, some kids are late bloomers, but we all know those kids. Like, we all know this guy's different than the rest of these kids. And in Europe or in other parts of the world, they take that kid and then you go off to a soccer academy or a basketball academy. And like, that's literally, you start training to become a professional athlete. It's no different than like, they have debate club for kids that want to grow up and be lawyers. Like, but it's just like in America, we act like professional sports is like almost something like like you should be ashamed to like reach for you don't want to like put your eggs in that basket, or you need to work on your backup plan. So we take these kids who are physical freaks, different than all their peers, and we treat them like all their peers. And like, no, you focus on math, and you pretend like you want to get a college degree, when in reality, and in some kids, hey, if you want to get a college degree, more power to you. But me and you both know that half of the kids on the football team and other sports teams, if they could be playing sports without doing the schoolwork, they would. I know I would have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. But I'm just saying, like in America, I'm sorry, I'm making a short story long, but in America, we like make the athletes, like the whole student athlete label, we make them pretend to play school, when in reality they're there for a specific reason. Like I can hear your voice saying this now. Like, you think they want my black ass here if I can't fucking run a 4.4? You know what I'm saying? Like we both know I'm here for a very specific reason, and yet we like dancing around the issue, acting like I'm here to take a fucking algebra class. And in Europe or in other countries, they're just like, yo, you're good at soccer, so you're here to play soccer and get better at soccer and grow up to be a world-class soccer player. I really don't give a shit how well you can find X, And I want you to, like I said, I don't know if you witnessed that in your time in Europe, or if you think that would be a good idea, or like if a system more along like those lines would have been beneficial to a man of such as yourself.
Well, yeah, man, that sounds pretty decent, man. But for example, my brother-in-law, my youngest brother-in-law, he's real good at golf, and he's real good at soccer, and he was also real good in school, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
over there, basically, to my understanding, and I could be wrong, but with some of this, but over there, you don't have to go to school until you're 18. You can leave school when you're 16 if you test out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like a lot of people do that, and some people, like, the athletes, if they're smart, they'll do that. They'll test out, you know what I mean? And they'll go and get a job and still play their sport, like I was saying, my brother-in-law, I want to say he's 19 now, and he's an accountant, you know what I mean? Like a full-time accountant, but he plays golf for a club, and he plays soccer for a club still.
That's
And
dope.
yeah, he's still pretty good, you know what I mean? And he's only 19, so he's got time to improve still. So,
Yeah, yeah, and that
I feel
reminds
like
me.
he
A
has
lot
a
of
he
a
has
lot
a
of
chance.
MMA a lot of MMA fighters like still work jobs and shit when they're coming up. But like I'm talking about like the best of the best. Like Lionel Messi, when he was like 10 years old, they took him from his like little village in Argentina and shipped his ass to Spain and was like, you playing
Yeah.
soccer now. And you about to get good at soccer. And then like even like Luka Doncic, bro. Luka Doncic was playing pro basketball and FIBA and like in the European League when he was like 15, 16 years old. So remember, Ricky Rubio was playing pro basketball at like 14 or some shit. He was like a phenom. There was the Freddie Adu kid, the soccer player back in the day. He
Oh
was like
yeah.
15. He was like 15 playing pro soccer. I mean, there's a lot of examples of it, bro. Even like I've been getting more into skateboarding lately. I'm sure you've seen that. But like in like the best skateboarder in the world, Nigel Houston, you probably heard of him.
Yeah.
His dad like used to like keep him out of school and make him skateboard all day. And I know that's kind of fucked up, and like, but like I'm saying, then he turned into the best skateboarder in the world. I just feel like a lot of these young athletes, man, like I just feel like if we just let them focus on what the fuck they want to be focusing on, and like let them kind of pour their heart and soul into their craft, like we let that. I'm just saying we let other kids do that. Like we let, like if kid wants to like practice guitar all day, we let him do that, or like just different hobbies. But there's just something about sports that it's almost like a part-time thing. Like, oh, I mean, you heard it a million times, I'm sure, in different schools and whatever. Just, oh, you're a student first, Darryl. You are a student athlete. You are a student, then an athlete. And like they try to like tell you that. And I'm saying for a lot of kids, I'm sure that's a good thing. But I think for those special athletes, and I'm putting you in that category, dog. Like I've never met a person like you, like for real. Like for those that don't know, I'm just gonna kind of hype you up real quick. For those that don't know, it's hard to tell on the camera. This man is like, when we were playing, he was like 6'3", 220. Literally would show up to the first day of spring ball, run a 4.4 straight off the couch. And I'm talking about a 4.4 flat, not a 4.49. I mean, the man can like dunk a basketball from the free throw line. I mean, just this guy's a freak. And what I'm saying is just guys like you. Like I don't feel like, bro, like I don't feel like your football career should have been treated the same as my football career. Like I'll like say that. Like you should have been in some camp with fucking Patrick Peterson and like niggas like that. You know what I'm saying? Like them elite level guys. I just feel like I don't know, man. I just feel like, and that's by no means as a shot to your mental, because I know you're a smart guy, but I'm just saying like the American system of making you like pretend like you're there to like learn algebra whenever, you're there to take advantage of the gifts that you are given. And I just feel like a different system could be a little more conducive to that. But
Yeah, but man, if I can just say a little something about that, man. I mean,
yeah.
it's it's I guess kind of another look on it, man. Like the way I see it, man, like I was good enough, maybe, and people feel the way that I feel about myself. I might have been good enough to go and play at the highest level, but I didn't make it for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So like maybe what this school and this college stuff is for is to weed out everybody that don't belong. Number one, and number two, to give everybody a plan B. You know what I mean, or a plan B and C. I got when I was at OBU, I got a certification in personal training. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't graduate, but I got that, and I learned a lot. I met a lot of cool
Oh yeah.
people.
Oh
It's,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just one of them deals.
Yeah, no, I 100%. I'm not saying like in a regret way. I'm just trying to think of like, I don't know. I like to think real big picture of like societal level changes. I've
Like
always been that way,
like
bro. But
LeBron, yeah, when you see LeBron when he was 12, you like, nah, he don't, we need to work on basketball. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like Shaq, you know what I mean? People, I get you, I see what you mean.
yeah, bro. Like, and I'm saying, I'm not even saying this is based only on you, bro. I know, like, well, there's only one Darryl Fields, but I know a lot of guys. Like, I know a lot of freak ass athletes, guys running 4.4s and 40-inch vertical. But you know what? They was never gonna be the best one in their chemistry class. But what I'm saying is that's okay. You're like different people have different skill sets, and I just think if there was like a place or a system. I mean, like they kind of have it with AAU. Like there's not really an AAU for football. You know what I'm saying? Like them AAU cats, it don't matter if they're fouling algebra. They can go hoop at an AAU tournament and have the eyes on them. Football is, I feel like, a weird sport that's like super tight at the hip with academics. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no other options. Like if you're a boxer, like if you're a really good boxer, like in your failing Spanish class, you can still go box whoever the fuck you want to go box. Like there's just like this weird tied at the hip nature with academics and football, and a lot of people spin that as a good thing, and it keeps these kids focused and out of trouble. But I kind of look at it for like a different, do a different lens of it's true, and it helps a lot of guys out, and there's a lot of guys that work hard to pass their classes specifically so they can be eligible. But I'm just saying, like, it does create, I feel like, gaps for those kids to fall through. Like some of the best athletes, especially at my high school, bro. Like at my high school, some of the best athletes walking around the hallways didn't play for no sports.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they would be dropping 40 on intramurals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just because and I just wish there was a different like avenue for those kids. Like I said, maybe like an AAU type thing, but for football or anything. But yeah, man, we spent some time talking about the system, and it sounded to me like you kind of look at it more through just your own eyes, which is awesome. And I want to hear about that. And so, like, if you could kind of give some advice to young Darryl operating under the system that we are operating under, how would you go about, what would you say to, either a younger version of yourself or the next young stud from Madill, Oklahoma that's facing some of the same challenges you faced?
So like, I think first off, man, if I could go back and talk to my younger self, man, I'll probably sock me in my mouth, you know what I mean, and be like, hey, look, listen, like you ain't the toughest dude on the planet, dog. Like you ain't, first off. And man, I just, it's like I tell all the young kids now, man, I just, tell them stay focused. There's all kind of different distractions, man, all kind of different distractions. It comes in all different shapes and forms, a big, and I won't call it a distraction because it ended up being a blessing to me, man. Me and my wife, we met at school, and
yeah. Shout out
we ended up
Nicole,
pregnant.
man. I said,
Was
shout
that?
out Nicole. I just said, shout out Nicole, man. Miss her,
Oh
man.
yeah.
We all used to have some
She's a
good
real
times
one.
hanging out. She's the best, man.
Yeah, shoot, she's a real one. But we had that happen, man, and it ended up being, real big for both of us, So
Yeah.
just, if your eyes is on the prize, keep your eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? Like, have your fun and stuff like that. But shit, go to study hard. You know what I mean? Like, go study and make it to where you can play. You know what I mean? Like, there's different semi-pro leagues and shit like that. You know what I mean? But there ain't really a bigger platform for the NFL than college. So like you just kind of got to stay with it. And shit, if you want to just go to college and you looking for the college experience, then don't play college football. You know what I mean? Just go.
No,
Don't.
that's true, bro. I love how you said that. That's something that honestly resonates with me a lot because, like, I try not to do too much, hindsight and woulda, coulda. But, like, when I think about things I could have done differently, one of the main questions I always ask myself, always, was, like, if I could go back and do it all over again, would I have even played football in college? And I wrestle with that question so fucking much because, I mean, on one hand, literally some of the best times of my life, I literally got to, like, accomplish a childhood dream. I made a bunch of friends, such as yourself. You're probably the main friend I took out of that. And, like I said, it shaped a lot of my character and taught me a lot of lessons. And, it taught me about physical fitness. And I mean, the list of benefits is a mile long, but I always kind of do have in the back of my head, like, damn, like, if I wasn't playing football, would I have a degree right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, just questions like that. And I'm not trying to, but it's just, it's interesting to kick around. I always really, really struggled with that balance. I could never quite get that balance down between school and athletics and life. I could never quite find that balance.
But look, because we all like, people that we know and are, some of the people that we know and went to school with, man, we pretty much had to, in a way, make it like, my dad did everything he could for us, man. Like, you know what I mean? And he made a good life for us, man. I'd never take that away from him. But at the same time, he raised us, trying to mold us to be able to make it on our own. So before I came to OBU, I was making it on my own. You know what I mean? And you grew up with your moms, and I know she's a hard ass worker. You know what I mean? But you had to grow up.
Just gaps.
We didn't have a lot of shit given to us. You know what I mean? So like, we we couldn't really afford to pay to go to a whole bunch of different camps and shit. So we kind of had to just do it on our own, and we did it. We played college football. You know what I mean? Like, shit.
Man. For real, man. For real. Like it didn't go down perfectly, but we weren't operating with the perfect hand of cards to deal with. So I do feel like we did a good job making chicken salad out of chicken shit. I feel you on that. But yeah, man, I feel you. I would tell a younger version of myself to, like, not worry about, like, what you thought other people wanted you to be doing. Like, I don't know, in my younger self, like I would always second guess, like, my original kind of, like game plan and like damn, is this like what like other people would want? But now, as you see, the older I've gotten, I just fully, have embraced kind of just like confidence in my ability. And another thing is like, you know if I make a decision, I'm the one that got to live with the consequences. So if you need, like, really, you shouldn't let nobody. And I'm not saying be hard headed and don't take advice from nobody, but live for yourself. Like, I feel like young Dom, I didn't live for myself, and I feel like maybe I could have a little more. But so, and this is another part of it. So on one hand, the reason why a lot of athletes don't make it is grades, and we've already kind of gotten into that, gone down that rabbit hole. But another reason I feel like football players, some don't make it, is like there's like this certain way football players are expected to act. Do you know what I mean by that? Do you know exactly what I mean by that, right? Like that kind of Captain America, square jawed, kind of, yeah, chest out, just that like 1960s buzz cut football player, like that kind of image. Like, yeah, like that, that Roger Staubach kind of image just never really, and maybe it's because of the part of the country we play football in. Like maybe if we grew up playing football in New Orleans or Houston or, Florida, maybe we feel differently. But I feel like for young football players growing up in Oklahoma or, rural kind of, conservative parts of the country, there's just that expectation to just, kind of have that Captain America or Roger Staubach image. You remember kind of coming into conflict with that? I definitely did.
Yeah, shit. So, I mean, I'm gonna remind you again. I come from Adele, Oklahoma. You know what I mean? So, it's
Yeah,
like you gotta be like this, like God fearing, like
yeah,
stuff like that. And I guess that's probably what pushed me to my beliefs. Like I mean, I don't have the same beliefs as a lot of people do, when it comes to that stuff, man. But it's because, growing up, man, like I was pretty much told I had to be that way. You know what I mean? Like instead
yeah.
of, it tells you in the Bible that God created you in His image. You know what I mean? So He created me. Why can't I be me? You know what I mean? Like
That's a good
that
way
don't
to
make no
look at it.
sense, And that's why. I ain't gonna tell anybody that whatever they believe is wrong or whatever they don't believe is wrong, but I have my beliefs, and I wish that people would not tell me that too, because it goes
It's
both
a
ways,
two-way street.
Yeah.
100%, bro. I'm glad you brought in the religion to it too, because that's another thing. If you never played football in the Midwest or the South, you'll never get a lot of my audience in California. Like, you'll never understand how like tied at the hip God and football are. Like, it's literally people live their life by like God football family. You'll see it on like people's doorsteps and hanging and stickers
Yeah.
on their truck and all that shit. It's like really a way of life. And you think, what does one, if you really think about it, what the fuck does one have to do with the other? What does God and religion have to do with a sport invented 100 years ago called football? Like, them shits ain't got nothing to do with each other. And I feel like that probably stops a lot of kids from wanting to even play football. Like out here in Cali, bro, there ain't a lot of kids. Like, and I know it has to do with where I'm at, but like all the kids here, they all skateboard and shit because, ain't nobody telling them how they have to act and think and dress and how their politics should be. You can do whatever the fuck you want when you're a skateboarder. And like I feel like that's more appealing to the younger generation. Like I feel like football is going to end up kind of kicking themselves in the ass, like the next Patrick Mahomes may never even pick up a football because they don't want to be around a bunch of uptight assholes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And hey, I fully believe that, you know what I mean? Because I know, man, I can honestly tell you that I got people that I'm cool with that told me that they didn't approach me when we was in school because of, I was a football player. You know what I mean? Like, or you hung out with the football players and this and that, and I'm like, I was the same, I was the same dude. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
just got with that, the football players, I guess like the stigma or whatever, like they didn't want to be around that. And I get it, man. Looking, we didn't have a lot of bullying and stuff like that at my school, but I mean, shit, sometimes it happened, man, and you know, you don't like seeing that shit, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
be around people like that, but at the same time, you know, I don't judge people. You know what I mean? Like, shit, everybody. You know, it's you know, you fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
shit
especially back
happens. Like,
then.
you know, you got these kids walking around saying they depressed and shit like that. Like, you a kid, bro. You ain't seen life yet. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you can't
definitely.
really, you know.
Yeah, 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 man. No, that makes perfect sense to me, bro. And like, man, and kind of on the same topic of like how football players were expected to act and dress and pray and all this shit. And I know this is something me and you can speak on specifically, bro. Like the relationship between cannabis and football was always at odds, like always. Like how many? I mean, did you ever get kicked out of a school for smoking? Was that ever a reason why you left the school?
No, man. The man, I got caught up one time with another friend. I know you remember that.
Oh yeah, that was.
And hey,
Oh
look,
man.
hey, look, they tried, man, but you know, I told them that, you know, basically we just had it on us and we wouldn't, you know, they had no proof we was smoking it, man. So, you know, they tried to drug test me for, you know, a few times and I passed them all, so they couldn't, you know, they couldn't kick me out. You know what I mean? So I played football for them. You know what I mean? Like you know, I was paying them money to, you know, to go to their school. You know what I mean? And they was trying to get me kicked out because you know, smoked a little bit of weed. You know, even
Yeah.
though I gotta, you know, like you know how our days are. You wake up, you go to workouts in the morning, then you go to class, then you know, you might have a little bit of time to eat lunch, then you go back to class, and then you got to go to meetings, then you got to go to practice. You know what I mean? Then you got to, you know, you might have a little bit of free times, then you got to go to study hall. You know, shit. I gotta burn something. You know, at some point during that day. You know what I mean?
You bet.
Shit,
You bet your ass.
like,
You bet your
like,
ass.
come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's a long day. You know, like,
Oh, bro, and like I swear, like motherfuckers that could do all that shit without smoking, it's like, man, what are you doing to get your releases? You doing some weird shit. You probably back there skinning cats or some weird shit. Like I don't know, uh, but uh, but man, when something happened that's crazy. I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day, and it finally happened. Lincoln Riley, the University of Oklahoma, the Sooners head football coach, he actually came out like in his players' defense, saying that it was stupid that they were still drug testing for it and players should be allowed to smoke. I thought that was the coolest shit because I never thought in a million years you would hear that in college. I know it would happen in the NBA and in baseball, things stop testing, but I never thought in a million years I would hear the head coach of the University of Oklahoma like take a player's side for smoking. I thought that was dope as fuck.
hey, yeah. I mean, it's a different time, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's a different time. Like, it's, you know, people are starting to notice that this shit don't hurt. It helps. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for my job, I can't, you know, for my job, you know what I mean? But like, shit, like, if I could, it would fucking help. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because you
yeah.
know, there's some days that you fucking want to out there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's everybody go through that. You know, but like with college football players, especially, man, all the shit you got to do in one day. You know what I mean? Like, shit, like. They should have a period where you can fucking go and smoke you a joint. You know what I mean? Like shit, like the middle of the day, and you know, go burn you a L and then restart, you know, and then start up again. You know, like shit, like it's crazy that's with everything going on in this world, like girls getting raped on campus, you know, people getting shot up on campus and shit like that. Y'all tripping about motherfuckers smoking weed?
Yeah, man.
Like, come on
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, man. Especially back in our day, man. Like we had to really like operate in the shadows, man. Like we had the fucking feds watching, man. Like not the feds, but the fucking dean was like surveilling my house, man, over some weed, man. That's just crazy. I just that's another thing too, man. I think that's how Lincoln getting all them recruits now, all them five stars. He's like, yeah, come on down and we gonna let you burn. But that's what I'd be doing, bro. But man, Also, I also wanted to talk. You have a unique perspective that not necessarily a lot of people can relate to, and I want to hear your perspective on it, man. Like, because you were an elite athlete, like I mean, like I said, I've gone on and on top flight level athlete, and you were coming out of a small town like Medill. Um, just do you think that that hurt like recruiting and just like kind of like or like maybe even held you back a little bit? Like if you were the same exact Darryl Fields playing for like one of them big 6A Texas high schools, do you think that would have like maybe opened up different doors? Or I just wanted to hear your perspective on like said coming from like a real small town like that.
Well, man, yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends, cause my coach, man, shout out to Kerry Roberts, you know what I mean, cause he's the he made it possible. He's the one that made it possible. Don't mean to call you a MF coach, but you know how I am. I love you, man. But he's the one that sent my tapes out. You know what I mean? Like he basically told me, you know what I mean? He's the one that talked me into coming, because I was gonna quit after my sophomore year and just play basketball and run track. You know
Okay.
what I mean? But like he talked me into playing, and he told me, man, if come play and we'll see how things go, and I'll get you into college, man. He did, and it just kind of goes with that, because you could be at a big school and the coach could not give a fuck, like he could have a kid on the team, a nephew on the team that he's focused on, and not give a fuck about what you got going on.
A
And if
lot
your
more
parents don't
politics.
care, they ain't gonna be doing nothing either. So it's about the leadership, you know what I mean? Like wherever
Yeah.
you at, because I could have went to a 6A school and been a third stringer and never touched the field. I mean, me being me, I'm a
Yeah,
fucker.
let's
I
be
don't, I
real.
don't care. I'm gonna bust my ass and try to start, but like you never know how things go. But like to me, yeah, it's the leadership, it's the coach, it's the person that's job it is to get you out there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
and especially these kids nowadays, they got so many ways to get their film and highlight out on the internet nowadays that I'm sure
oh yeah.
it's probably better than ever to come from a small town for sure. I just definitely want to get your perspective on that. Now you brought it up a little bit. You at one point in your life you had a fork in the road moment where you almost quit football and we're gonna focus more on basketball. And I've seen you hoop, man. You can hoop. You can really hoop. Do you ever let your mind kind of wander down the what if rabbit hole? Like what does like Hooper Darryl's life look like? Like do you ever kind of wonder about that?
Man, so I mean, yeah, sometimes I guess your mind kind of thinks about different shit when you ain't got nothing going on. But like, man, I was a football player that just loved basketball. You know what I mean? So like, I really personally, I don't think I could have really made it past, maybe, D2. I would have been a role player or something D2, because
Okay.
I never even, how fucking I'm confident, you know what I mean? Not overconfident though, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't think that I would have really made it too far in there. I played overseas. I played in Scotland for a little bit, man, and I was pretty decent, man, but that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, but
Like
do you think that's because you were focused? Like, do you think if you like practice as much as at football as you practice basketball? I mean, if you practice basketball as much as you practice football, you don't think that like you could have been cold?
I mean, shit, maybe, but it's
Maybe.
one of them things, man, because like I'm I played basketball year round, you know what I mean? So like if I mean I kind of did focus on it a lot, but I didn't fully focus on it. You know what I mean? I never went to no basketball camp and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I played in the summer. I played, you know, summer basketball and stuff like that. But I never really went to camp and shit. So, who knows? I probably could have been all right. Cause shit, I mean, I could never dribble. You know what I mean? So like, if I could have figured that shit out, I'd have been in there.
That's hilarious, bro. I kind of on that same tip, because I always like asking guys who played football how they would feel. Like, do you want your kids to play football? Like, would you be worried about your kids playing football? Is that something you're looking forward to one day? I know every football player has a different opinion on this question. I always like to ask.
So, man, my oldest one, Benji, he started playing football already, flag football, you know, and he's pretty decent at it, man. But my thing is, man, I want him to just play whatever he wants to play, man. Cause or even if he don't want to play shit, just whatever he's doing to focus on that shit and really work at it, man. Because shit, football is my thing, you know what I mean. But shit, it might not be neither of my kids, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they need, but Benji, he sees like you know, since we got back, you know, to my home, he always hears people talking about it and like, you know, he sees shit and sees my name and shit, and that gets him excited, you know what I mean? So like, hell yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm ready to see what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna be better than me, you know what I mean? Like shit, I'm ready to see. You know,
No,
that's how
yeah,
I'm gonna
he's
train him. I know things that I didn't know when I was 6, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna teach him those things, and he's shit. I'm gonna see how it goes. Him and you know, and Evan, shit. We might have us a little squad going. You know what I mean? Shit, I don't know.
hell yeah. I always knew them kids was gonna be athletic. Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's cool, man. And I definitely I feel the same way. Like if my kid wants to play football, I'm not gonna like tell him not to. But at the same exact token, exactly, you gotta let them do whatever you want to do, whatever they want to do. It's always interesting because some guys, you know, would say they didn't want their kids to play football because especially like I remember, bro, when we were playing ball together, you got a couple concussions. So nobody I feel like is more qualified to speak on that than you know, because I'm tired of a bunch of motherfuckers that's never had a concussion talking to me about concussions. So like, you know, you're speaking from experience. And I go that kind of leads into my next question is, you know, how is your body and mind feeling at this stage of your life? You know, having been out playing football now, how you feeling?
Man, shit. Honestly, I've been pretty active since then. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm still feeling pretty good. You know, I can. My thing is, once I get to where I can't dunk the basketball no more, that's when I'm fucking up. You know what I mean? Like that's when
Okay.
I need to get it back. You know, so like I stay in shape. You know, I work out a couple times a week, and you know, compared to how it was back then, man, like it ain't nothing like that. You know, a good workout for me is maybe an hour and 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So like. I can't even imagine going in there and busting ass for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Then going out to practice, like I might
Yeah.
die. You know what I mean? Like I ain't that type of I can't do that shit no more. But I mean, I got 2 kids, man, so I like to be able to
Yeah.
run around with them and shit like that. So I stay pretty active, man. I feel pretty good, man. I'm
Oh,
29
that's
now,
good to
shit,
hear.
going strong.
That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. Did you ever have any major injuries when you were playing? What was the worst injuries you had?
Man, at SMU, man, like I had like a freak ass, weird ass injury, man. I got tackled, man, and like my legs crossed a weird way, and I like pulled a muscle in my gooch, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Oh,
no
oh,
bullshit, bro, no bullshit. A lot of people on my mom's side of my family, they came to the game. It was at the Superdome, bro. We was playing Tulane, and
okay.
yeah, man, I caught a kickoff and was running, man. I got tackled, and that happened, man. Yeah, it was fucked up, man. Couldn't get it in for like 3 4 weeks, man. Like had to go in the ice bath and heat bath every morning and shit. Like it was rough, but that was
Oh, so
pretty
what?
serious, man. And what was that?
But I was just saying, like, you never had no ACLs, no bad ankles, no bad
Oh,
shoulders, nothing like
oh
that.
yeah, man, I had the same thing happen to my ankle, man. When I was in high school and when I was at OBU, man, somebody just fell on it. You know what I mean? At OBU, you remember Big Tyler Whitfield? Shout out Tyler Whitfield. You got a beautiful family, dog, and keep on doing
Yeah,
what you're doing if you're watching this. But yeah,
definitely.
you know, he fell on my ankle, man. That was probably about as serious as it got. I had to get surgery, so
Oh yeah. Oh
no
shit, I
ACLs
forgot
though.
about that.
I
Yeah,
always
no,
said if I tore my ACL, I quit. So
yeah, I'm super glad I made it out with none of those either. That was me tapping on wood right there. But yeah, man, I'll be real, man. At this stage, man, my shoulders, because I separated both shoulders multiple times playing linebacker, and I'm starting to feel
I
it, man.
remember.
The older I get, man, the older I get, I do start to feel that shit, man. And all them times I broke my fingers and hands on them cold days, I start to feel that shit. I'm like, damn, I'm getting older for real. Man, um, what list off for me all the schools you went to, because you went to more than just SMU and OBU, right?
Yeah, I went to after SMU for a summer, I went to NEO in Miami, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then I took some classes at Southeastern. I was gonna try to play basketball there, but I mean, that just didn't work out. But
Yeah.
that's when around the time I ended up going to OBU. So,
How did you even like get recruited to OBU? Like how did you like hear about it, or who reached out to you?
man, it's crazy, man. I was actually at work one day, and I was working at this hotel over there, and somebody gave me a call and was like, "Hey, man, like, what are you up to these days?" Like, I just told them, just working and thinking about trying to play basketball at Southeastern. And he's like, well, Oklahoma Baptist, they're starting up football, for the first time in like, however long. And I was like, shit, that sounds pretty cool. They need players. They're taking everybody, basically. So I was like, shit, I'll do it, man. Coach Brown, Coach Raymond
Oh,
Brown,
Coach
man.
Brown. He seems like
Hey,
to have a
man, shout
good
out to him.
career. Yeah, he
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like a dope
he's a
guy.
good coach, man. Not just that, he's a good dude, man, and that can take you far, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate everything he did for me, man, like, for real. Like, he came down there and got me. And Coach Milo too, man, my
Milo.
bad. Coach Milo too, they was in it together. It was a team effort, man. Between the two of them, they got me up there, and it worked out for the time that it did, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, man. And yeah, shout out to Coach Milo, Coach Jason Milo in Oklahoma. Um, one of the best coaches I ever had in my life. I'm
Hey,
not just saying that because he's
man.
watching live right now. I genuinely mean it. And like for real, like that's like when I was talking about earlier in the episode about I go back and I wonder if I would do things differently if I had a chance to do it all over again. And one of the main reasons I probably wouldn't do anything differently is that man right there, Coach Milo. Learned a lot from him. And yeah, like that's the kind of guy you want your kid to play for, man. I remember like if I had a son that Coach Milo was recruiting, I know he'd be in good hands. So yeah, anybody thinking about going to play for Coach Milo, that's a good man to play for. Um,
Yeah, shoot, man.
yeah,
Still
man.
stay in touch to this day, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he supported the podcast. He bought a couple of shirts, man. I love that guy. Shout out to Coach Milo for real. And then, yeah, man. And then also, probably one of the last questions before we go and wrap this up soon. But I just wanted you to talk about. Some people watching this may not know you. I think it may be fair to say that you may be the first black man from Medill, Oklahoma, to go live in Scotland.
Yeah.
That may be a first. That may be a first. I feel pretty confident in saying that's a first. Yeah, I just kind of want you to talk a little bit about your time spent overseas, maybe what it was like being a black man in Scotland, what it was like being a kid from a small town in Oklahoma in Scotland, because you are indeed both of those things.
Well, man, it was different, man. It was way different than obviously the small town I'm from. You know what I mean? Anywhere else I've been over here, but it was cool. I played I played rugby and I got to play basketball too. So I met a lot of good people. And if any of y'all are watching, shout out to Forrester Rugby Club. Shout
Okay.
out to Edinburgh Lions basketball team. I hope y'all still doing it. Well, over there, man, it's a lot different because they don't really look at me as a black dude, man. They look at me as an American. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they
That's
ain't gonna call
interesting.
you a fucking, they ain't gonna call you a black dude. He's the American. You know what I mean? Like, and I
That's
looked
cool though.
American.
That's
You
cool
know what I
though.
mean?
It's almost like I wish our own country looked at it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I mean, shoot, I enjoyed my time over there, man. I really did. I met a lot of good people, man. A lot of people helped me out while I was over there, and that's one place that I would recommend to everybody just at least visit. You know what I mean? Like, you might fall in love and end up staying your ass over there, man. This shit is cool, man. Like, there's a lot of good people over there.
so cool how you described that, for real. It's almost like they have the concept of an American down better than Americans do. You know what I'm saying? Because we so divided and fighting amongst each other over here. But if we go somewhere over like Scotland, they looked at us all the same. That's
Yeah,
really interesting. That's honestly beautiful in a certain type of way, man. That's cool
it
for
is,
real.
man. I love it. I love it. I love that about it, man.
No, man.
It's one of those things that you know, like while you're over there, you know, like, cause I dress like I do here over there, you know what I mean? So like I look a little bit different from everybody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, like ain't nobody saying nothing about that. You know, ain't nobody focused on that.
Yeah. No, man, that really is cool, man. And it's like I said, it's almost like they have that figured out better than we do, man. And man, that's what's cool, man. That's why I definitely, man, from the day I started up this podcast, I knew that one of these days I wanted to get you on here because you're, man. I feel like you've lived like 3 lifetimes already, bro. You've been all over the place, done all types of things, man. Had a lot of experiences, and like I said, I definitely wanted to just I wanted my listeners and my viewers to, be able to hear your story, hear some of the things you've learned from just your different experiences, and like I said, I just wanted to show the world my good friend Darryl Fields. I knew you'd have some good stories to tell, man. I said,
I
I think that's all
appreciate
the
it, man.
questions I have for you. And I just appreciate you so much for your time and being a part of episode 34 of Dreadful Talk Podcast, my guy.
I appreciate it, man. Shout out to Finner Family Fitness. I seen you on there, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody watching, man. I really appreciate y'all watching and showing my man D-Mac some support.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for everybody watching live, for real. If I didn't get a chance to shout out everybody, my eyes suck and I have to like get close to it, so it's hard for me to see all the messages coming in. But thanks so much to all the live viewers, all the messages on this. I'll take this video and I'll put it on YouTube. So everybody, please go subscribe to Dreadful Talk Podcast on YouTube, and then you'll be able to find the audio from this anywhere you like to find your audio podcast. So feel free to show love, no matter how you like to get your podcast. We got a way for you to get it. Yeah, feel free, like I said, please go subscribe on YouTube, Dreadful Talk Podcast. And yeah, this was episode 34. Thanks so much, Darryl. You're the man. Miss you, bro.
All right, miss you too, dog. One of these days, bro. One of these days.
We're gonna link up, man, one of these days, bro. I really appreciate your time, man. You have a good night. So say hi to Nicole for me, man.
All right, bro.